Hello, everybody. Just checking in with you guys. This is Laura from Healthy Carnivore. I'm going to go over just a snippet of who I am. I am a registered nurse. I have been a nurse for over 22 years now. Today, I'm trying to think. It's 6 years. Let's see. Yeah, almost 6.5 years that I've been carnivore. So in 2019, I did convert over to carnivore. And prior to that, in 1991, I did switch from the standard American diet to keto. And I did keto for many years, many years. And then, like I said, I have converted to lion diet actually 3 years ago. So I just feel the best eating the strictest of the carnivore style. I have been able to reintroduce eggs as long as they are country eggs where like they're feeding them normal like scraps, letting them run wild, eating the worms, grubs, grass, stuff like that. As long as they do that and they're not using these, junky foods to feed them, then I do just fine. Hey, Thomas. Um, so that's just a little bit about me. So every Monday, I like to come on here and go over something educational when it comes to keto, ketovore, or carnivore. So today's topic is going to be on how to become fat adapted. Okay. This is something that I did not really fully wrap my head around in the beginning. And it took me an extreme long time to really get truly fat adapted. Even up to a year and a half ago, if I would eat liquid rendered fat, I would have stomach upset. I would, be in the bathroom. We all know what that means. Um, and I had to really kind of forcibly make myself get fat adapted. Now, like today, I ate a pound of crispy ribeye fat with Redmond salt, and that's what I've had for today. And that's what I'm eating. That's it for today. Tomorrow, I will have some hamburger and then some ribeye fat. But that's pretty much my diet. Maybe I've got some turkey eggs, so maybe I'll throw a turkey egg in there. Those things are like humongous. So we'll see how those go. Hey, Karen, how are you guys? So, if you know of anybody who is struggling with getting fat adapted, this might be a good video to share out with them. Of course, if you like the video, you know what to do. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, sometimes I have some good information out there. And I'm always, hmm, I try to stay off my soapbox. How's that? I'll say that. Hey, Beth. So, for fat adaptation, that is where your body shifts from primarily burning um, carbohydrates and glucose for energy, and where it switches over to fat burning and ketones, which is the ketone bodies are what's left of fat metabolism. So, this process can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, but every single person is 100% different. As I said, I was a good 4.5 years in before I really got fat adapted. It was, you grew up in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and 70s. Let's just be honest. Okay. I was born in 71. Um, it was always low fat, low fat, low fat. And even though I was eating fatty meat for a woman, I really found that for myself, 80, 90% fat did the best for me. I really felt my best at that. Anything lower than that, and my brain is like, it's like somebody unplugged the computer. So, one of the easiest ways to start, of course, is by reducing the carbohydrates. So, you want to drop your carbs below 20 to 50, depending on how you feel. Some people stay at 50 for a little while and then they start to come down until they can get down to 20. Um, if you're doing carnivore, it's pretty easy to get to that. Most people, though, find that they need to transition down, okay, more to like a ketovore, and then carnivore. Not too many people really enjoy switching from standard American diet straight into carnivore. Some people do. I did do it that way because I just knew I'm an all or none and I had to avoid the carbs if I didn't want to get myself in trouble. So, hey, Christine, hello. Karen says, what does a day look like for you for a fat fast? It is just like today. I didn't eat anything for breakfast. I'm not drinking coffee. I gave that up. Which was easy because I'm not a coffee like connoisseur. Like my husband has to have like 4 cups of coffee or he cannot function. Just being honest. Um, so I've given that up. So I just do some electrolytes and warm water, do that in the morning. And then all I had today was a pound of ribeye fat. I cooked it up crispy. I mean, crispy. It was delicious. And just put the Redmond salt on it. And that's what I ate. And I ate that at probably 1 o'clock. Yeah, probably right around 1 p.m. today. And it's like 5:40. So, and I am still completely full. Um, I do have plenty thought out that I thought, well, if I get home after doing this, if I felt like I was hungry, that I would eat, some more. I'm not hungry at all. Like I am completely satisfied, no hunger pains at all. So that's kind of what a fat fast looks like for me. Some people really enjoy eating a lot of butter and they can do that. I know that some people, when they do a lot of butter, they gain weight. With a fat fast, this type, I- I've never gained any weight with it. I usually lose 3 to 5 pounds when I do that. I just want to retain my muscles, so I'm being careful with that. I'm not doing too many days of it. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Thomas says he was born in 72. I must be your older sister. Yep, because I was born in 71. Karen says, good interview this AM with Dr. Kiltz. And she's talking to Thomas. So I did not get to see that. I got up and was running on my treadmill and I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast with Oliver Anthony, the one that sings Richmond, North of Richmond, an interview he did with him that takes 3 hours. So I have not finished that, but I was watching that and I'm trying to keep my screen time down. I have my Marco Polo groups and I've been active on those, but then it's like staying off of a lot of electronics. Um, I did that this last Friday when I was with my grandkids. Anytime they're over here, I'm going to do that and just be more present. I think I felt like for myself that, you might be in a conversation with your grandchild and then your phone beeps and you don't stay in that conversation. You literally have to look at your phone. At least I did. What's that beep? Who is that? Or like if there's a red mark on my phone, like if there's a message there, they know that red, you have to get to that. You have to see what that is. And so I'm like, no, no, no. I'm going to control what I do with my time. So I've not been taking the phone. I try not to take it on the long walks unless I'm trying to count how many steps I'm taking, which I don't care at this point. I've measured them all out, but I don't take the phone with me. I don't feel like I need to be seen everywhere that I am. So anyway, so hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Increasing the healthy fats that you are eating. So I, of course, believe in prioritizing animal fats if you can get them. Some people have trouble in their areas getting like ribeye fat, leaf fat, any kind of beef fat from the butchers. So far, knock on wood, I don't have that issue. If I had that issue, I'd be okay for a while because I have several quarts. Probably I'm just looking at my shelf. Yeah, I probably have close to 200 quarts of tallow that I have rendered down because that's what I use for my products. Oh, I did patchouli soap bars and I just got those. They just came kind of due this morning. So I packaged them up and I think 5 of them. I've already had 5 of them go out. They smell so good. But that's what I use the tallow for. And then, of course, I eat the ribeye fat. Another thing is you can do butter if you can handle dairy. Okay. Another thing you can do is where you've rendered down the beef fat, which is tallow. Lard, you can do, which is your bacon grease, basically. That's what I call it. Bacon grease that's been purified, rendered down. And then fatty meats. You want to make sure you're getting that fat in. You want to eat enough protein that you can maintain your muscle and your satiety. I just, for myself personally, and this is just me speaking about myself, I can sit down and eat two 16-ounce ribeyes. And if you brought out a third one, I could eat it. But if you bring me out a pound of crispy ribeye fat and I eat that, I am full. So protein does not shut off that hunger center, or telling you you're full center doesn't work for me. It does not do that. I could continue. Um, Avoid snacking. That's a hard one because we have been brainwashed to snack 3 times a day at least. So sticking to 2 to 3 meals a day, which will help encourage fat burning. Of course, if you can throw in a day of OMAD, 1 meal a day, or 1 day of fasting where you're doing electrolytes and water and making sure you're staying hydrated, or there's dry fasting. I wouldn't do it over 24 hours personally. I have done several dry fasts where you don't drink the water for the 24 hours and fast. And it actually was really good. I was very surprised at that, but it worked out very well. So you want to stay hydrated. And like I said, you want the electrolytes. You want to consume salt, magnesium, and potassium to prevent keto flu. None of us want that. A lot of us probably did experience that. Exercise. So you want to do lower intensity workouts like walking, strength training to help speed up adaptation. Now, once you have gotten there, um, then if you want to integrate HIIT workouts, stuff like that, that's probably fine. It's just that you kind of got to be careful during that transition. You will use up all the glycogen in your muscles doing HIIT workouts. And if you're not fat adapted, you're going to have trouble getting the energy back in. Okay. And be patient. I don't like the P word because I lack patience. So fat adaptation takes time and you may experience fatigue initially. I did not, but I have worked with a couple people that were like, they were just drained. And I'm like, then your switch hasn't happened yet, because I find that when I eat mostly fat, that I have energy like through the roof, wide awake all day. But then when it is time to go to bed, it's like lights out. And like this weekend, I literally slept like a kid who has ran all day outside in the weather during the summer and come in and just crash. That's how it was. I just was out. Benefits of being fat adapted. So once you are fat adapted, your body runs efficiently on fat for energy. It leads to a more steady level of energy. So you won't have those crashes, you won't have the midday slumps like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You're not like looking around for, a Lotus or some kind of caffeine or something to eat, a Snickers bar or something like that. Um, it's been so many years since I had a Snickers bar. I mean, it'll be 34 the day before Thanksgiving this year, and it's like, man, why would I have ever put that in my mouth? When you look at the ingredients, it's just like, damn. Um, another benefit of being adapted is better mental clarity. Fat definitely feeds the brain and it fuels it very well. It does reduce brain fog. And I will tell you, last week I picked a day where I was like, I'm going to do the opposite. Let's just see how my body reacts. And I did all protein with minimal, and I mean minimal fat, probably 20-30% fat. And by the time I got home, in fact, it was last Monday, I came home, I ate a whole stick of butter because I was getting ready to go on here. And I was like, crap, I'm going to be like talking, like tripping over myself constantly. And I was that way at work when I was trying to do stuff. I was like, now, where did I say that? Where did I? And I was like, oh boy, I was like, nah, nah, nah. My brain needs higher fat. Reduced hunger and craving. Satiety lasts longer with fat on most people. There are a few that they're like, it doesn't work for me. I burned through it. I'm wondering if some of those aren't the lean mass hyper responders. Don't know that, but that's a guess. Improved endurance. So fat provides sustained energy for workouts. And I will tell you, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I get up, I do planks, I do push-ups, I do my sprints, and in between my sprints, I do push-ups there again, and I go over on my rebounder for a full minute and rebound, then get back and let my heart rate get down and then sprint again. And then I do functional stretching after that. That's at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, and I am not like, the best exerciser in the world, but I have the energy to do what I want to do. So, um, another thing is the weight loss. So that is something that I've noticed. Your body becomes efficient at burning stored fat. And I know it seems counterintuitive. We've all heard people say protein modifieds, and maybe that works for some people, but I have probably, I mean, not the last two people I worked with, but prior to that, I had several, over 20 people that I worked with that had done that and had completely crashed their metabolism, gained weight, lost muscle. And I was like, really? On high protein? That's crazy. But their brain fog was horrible. And I'm like, and their hormones were jacked, and they were all female. And I'm like, you got to have fat for your hormones. I'm not saying you got to do high fat every day, but boy, you got to get some fat in there. So I disagree with some of that information that's out there. And like I said, some people that may work for, and you have to do N=1 experiment to know what works best. Stabilizes blood sugar. Being fat adapted stabilizes your blood sugar. It lowers your insulin level, and it reduces inflammation. Better metabolic health overall because of reduced risk of diabetes and insulin resistance. And it makes you more insulin sensitive, which is what everybody should be kind of vying for. That's what you want. So if you are looking to become fat adapted for general health, weight loss, or any other reason, there's a really good approach that I'm going to go over with you. Um, so for general health, when you switch to do those higher fat days, and like I said, don't have to do every single day, but I would bump it up until you get to, you'll know, you'll be like, oh yeah, that switch just turned on. Like my brain is really clear. So for general health, you're going to notice reduced inflammation right away. Um, you're going to be going to the bathroom a lot, urination wise. This can help with autoimmune issues, joint pain, and brain health. It supports heart health by improving your triglycerides to HDL ratio. The only people I know of that is not true are your lean mass hyper responders. And there are those out there. There's quite a few out there. I believe Christy from Meeting Wellness, I believe she is a lean mass hyper responder. I know there was a couple others that I know. So, I mean, they have that. Um, enhance mental clarity and focus by stabilizing your blood sugar. And for somebody who is borderline diabetic or diabetic, that is the most important thing you've got to do to get better. And then it enhances the metabolic flexibility so your body can efficiently switch between fat and stay able to utilize carbs if you needed to. But we all know gluconeogenesis is where our livers convert and make glucose for what is needed for like red blood cells, and some of the parts of the brain need that. Now, for weight loss, being fat adapted can increase fat burning, especially stubborn body fat. It lowers your insulin. It makes it easier to lose weight without being hungry. That's the thing for me. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm hungry, I'm done. Like I'm not going to eat off or off carnivore, but I'm going to be eating and eating and eating and eating because I'm hungry. So when I do that higher fat, I don't have that, at least for me. Um, Prevents energy crashes and cravings. So you naturally will eat less. And I truly believe that. So even on days where I'm not doing a fat fast, where I'm eating like my protein and my fat, I always eat my fat first and then I eat the protein afterwards. So I'm kind of like the protein is like the dessert, and my main course is going to always be the fat. So being fat adapted encourages the body to tap into stored fat instead of relying on food for energy. So And you guys, most of you guys are already into keto, ketovore, or carnivore. So you're already on the right path. It's not as hard of a transition for you guys to do. If weight loss is a priority, staying very strict, low carbs, prioritizing protein, and then having the higher fat will absolutely speed things up. That will decrease you wanting to snack. And that's, I don't know, like I said about you guys, but for me, snacking was a big deal. Like I could snack every time I turned around. And it sucks because my husband's a squirrel. So like he can go in there and he can grab one cookie and then he goes off and mows the yard. He comes back in and he might have a handful of Sturzing potato chips. That's it. And then he goes on and does something. And it's like, I don't do that. Like if I open up something, it's like I have to eat the entire thing. So I cannot do the snacks. Let's see. Oh, wow. So, hey, Tara. So Thomas says my sugars aren't going any higher than 130 today, mostly around 80. Perfect. That's wonderful. Hey, Jiffy, how are you doing? Yeah, 80 is wonderful. Um, and I can't remember, Thomas, if you take like metformin or any of those kinds of things, but if you do, you want to start watching that and working with your VA doc. I don't know. I'm sure you have a portal where you can give them that information, but they may have to titrate down your medications, which is a great thing. Excellent thing. So, yeah. Let's see. Kathy said, I had my gallbladder removed last week. I'm struggling with my diet. Suggestions. Yes. Ox bile salts. So, a lot of people in the beginning going from standard American diet to this do ox bile salts or betaine hydrochloride. And you can look up Dr. Berg on YouTube and type both of those in. He does several really good videos talking about how those assist with that, with you not having a gallbladder. I've had people that I know that had gastric bypass and had their gallbladder removed, and they were able to transition. They did have to do some of those things for a couple months, and then they were able to slowly transition back off of those. You shouldn't have to take that supplement for very long, either one of them. So, yeah, that's what I would do. The other thing is cold fat. So, like, take butter directly out of the fridge. If you're going to eat like tallow or lard, I'd cut it up and like I'd put it in the fridge and I'd cut little teeny squares of it, like little 1 inch squares, pop them, swallow it so that it gets to the stomach and it's still semi solid by the time it gets there. That sometimes can also help. Rendered liquid fat is a little hard in the beginning when you're either without a gallbladder or you're transitioning over. So yeah, it kind of sucks they had to take your gallbladder. I'm working with a lady and her daughter, and we're trying to save her gallbladder so that she doesn't have to have it removed. So wish us luck. We're doing everything we can to try to prevent that. So Thomas says insulin, but I had to cut it in half. Yeah, great. And I think I may have to cut it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, as long as you feel okay, that's one thing. Like my blood sugars run in the 50s, which is normal when you take in absolutely nothing, sugar wise, carb wise. That is really what we used to run like 150 years ago. That was the norm. But of course, we all know what happened to our food supply and our medical supply, medical schools. And then it was like bump it up, bump it up, bump it up as to what they consider normal fasting blood sugar. So, but yeah, you definitely want to be careful and make sure you're still feeling okay. Even if you got to the 70s, as long as you don't get, cold feeling, kind of clammy, stuff like that. Okay. Um, so that would be the thing I would watch for, Thomas. So I'm going to go over next week's topic. And this is for B. Beasley. She has asked me to do this, and I had already all of my StreamYards ready to go, scheduled already with all of these other informational videos that I wanted to do. So she really wanted me to go over this. So I'm going to go over black seed oils because a lot of people are hearing about black seed oil. Black cumin seed is another way you may hear it. But I am going to go over the benefits. I'm going to go over the things, being on keto, being on carnivore. Um, yeah, dosing, therapeutic, external uses, reasons you would want to use it, reasons you may not, whether it's a good thing for you or not. So, that is what's going to be for next Monday. So, thank you guys for being here tonight. And hopefully, you like this. If you're watching this on the replay, you still can leave comments, questions. If there's a topic that you haven't seen that I've went over and you want me to do that, leave it in the comments and I will do my research on everything. Some of the stuff I know it very well because I've been doing this for a long, long time. Sometimes it's outside my wheelhouse, and I'm like, I need to get a little more information on that. So yeah, if there's anything like that, please leave it in the comments. So Thomas says it is your turn. It is my turn tomorrow with Russ. So yes, don't forget tomorrow night at 7:30 Central Standard Time. I will be live with Russ, and that is We Be Grilling, baby. And so usually on there, there's a teeny bit of education and a whole lot more of like comedy and singing because Russ is a singer. Okay. He can hold a tune and sing very well. I do backup like this because nobody wants to hear me sing. But yes, I will be on there tomorrow night. So please come watch that. And like I said, if you like this, please subscribe and hit the little notification bell. And I will check back with you guys later. So as I always say, meet, heat, eat, and repeat. See ya.